buy you all the tricycles you need, and I'll buy your first bicycle, your first two-wheeler, and I'll buy half of your second two-wheeler. And after that, you can have anything you want. But you're paying for it. Hey, Dad, I'm sure getting tired of walking to school. You know, I sure need a car. Yeah, son, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Boy, it'd be a lot quicker to drive, wouldn't it? Yeah, oh, man, Dad, it'd save me a lot of time. I can get more done around the house. Well, son, why don't you go buy a car? Well, Dad, I don't have any money. Oh, now, son, that does create a problem, doesn't it? You know, most people want money for their cars. You better go think about that one. It's real simple, Adam. Work hard, keep out of trouble, and prepare to die. That's God's commands here. Get ready to die, son. It's going to happen. You're going to go back to dust. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep His commandments. This is the whole duty of man. Interesting. Few people on the planet are keeping God's laws. Both the taking and the giving of life are important to the Creator. Giving life is critically important, and taking life is important. I mean, murder is serious in just about every society. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The giving of life is important also. Whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Jesus said, whoso looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery already in his heart. I always say, ladies, that's why it's real important how you dress, okay? My daddy always said, if you're not in business, don't advertise. Yeah. Women should dress in modest apparel. That's what it says. So, and we could talk all day about the increase in promiscuity and problems and sexually related problems in society. I mean, it's obvious to anybody. There are real serious problems in this world, okay? Divorce rates have gone sky high. Violent crimes have increased nearly 1,000%. What's happening? How on earth does this evolution theory tie in? Well, let me just show you a couple of things that I believe are closely tied to the evolution theory. I think it is the foundation for the racist philosophy we see. This textbook talks about different races of monkeys. There's still a monkey, for heaven's sake, okay? This might be classed as different species or races, but they're the same kind. The Bible says they bring forth after their kind. This book says, Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection. Oh, now, come on, guys. That's not the whole title to the book. Why don't they ever give us the whole title? Well, here's the whole title. I've got the book in my suitcase. On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. They're kind of embarrassed about that title these days because that's not politically correct, you know. Darwin was a racist. He thought natives were just advanced animals. Darwin said, at some future period not very distant as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate and replace the savage races throughout the world. What's he mean by that? Darwin said, from the war of nature, from famine and death, the most exalted object we're capable of conceiving, the production of higher animals, follows. So, well, in 1859, when Darwin's book was written, slavery was happening right here in America. You could buy and sell Negroes like cows. So when Darwin's book hit the market in 1859 and said there are favored races, well, hey, this fit right in with that society. Henry Fairfield Osborn said the standard of intelligence of the average adult Negro is similar to that of the 11-year-old youth of the species Homo sapien. Biological arguments for racism may have been common before 1850, but they increased by orders of magnitude following the acceptance of evolution theory. Huxley, Darwin's bulldog, said no rational man believes the Negro is equal, still less the superior of the white man. Kingsley, the Anglican priest who got the people to believe in Darwin, Darwin kind of wrote his book and went and hid. Kingsley and Huxley pushed him really hard. Kingsley said, the black people of Australia, exactly the same race as the African Negro, cannot take in the gospel. You can't get them saved. I was out driving around 2 in the morning. I drove a bus in Longview, Texas for years. Drove a church bus for 17 years. Here I was, 2 in the morning. I don't remember, I was going to the store to get something, and I saw this drunk had turned his car down the railroad tracks. He thought it was the street, but it was the railroad tracks. And his car had bottomed out, and he's stuck there, you know, and I thought, this is not a good place to park your car, so I'm going to help this guy push his car off the railroad tracks. Another guy stopped. We're pushing the car back off the tracks, and the other guy's standing there looking, you know. And I asked the other guy, I said, hey, he said, what are you doing in this neighborhood this late at night? I mean, it was an all-black neighborhood, you know, kind of a ghetto-type area in Longview, Texas. I said, no, this is my bus route. I come in here every week and bring a bunch of these people to church. I know, you know, most of them in here. He said, you bring these people to church? Why? I said, oh, we get them saved and try to teach them to live for the Lord, and, you know. He said, you get them saved, black people can't be saved. You know, we're pushing on the car. I said, what? He said, yeah, black people can't be saved. They don't have a soul. I said, are you part of the KKK? He said, yeah, how'd you know? Lucky guess. Don't have a soul. I led thousands of them to the Lord. No different than you or me. Kingsley said, poor brutes in human shape, they must perish off the face of the earth like brute beasts. Huh. In 1860, Kingsley wrote a letter to his wife after he visited Ireland after the potato famine had just killed 1 million people in a country of 8 million. He said, I'm haunted by the human chimpanzees I saw along the hundreds of miles of horrible country. To see white chimpanzees is dreadful. If they were black ones, one would not feel it so much, but their skins, except where tanned by exposure, were as white as ours. He thought the Irish people that died from the potato famine were white chimpanzees. Yeah, he did. The Mormon doctrine says Negroes in this life are denied the priesthood. Negroes are not equal with other races. It's the Lord's doing. It's based on the lack of spiritual valiance in the first estate. I had 2 Mormon missionaries come knock on my door when I lived on Burgess Road. They knocked on the door. I said, hey, yes, sir, can I help you? They said, oh, Mr. Hovind, we want to talk to you about the Lord. I said, that would be great. Which Lord would you like to talk about? Would you like to talk about yours or mine? They said, oh, we believe in the same Lord. I said, I don't think so, guys. I said, does your Lord have a body like mine? They said, oh, yeah, he's got a body like yours. I said, well, my Bible says God's a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. I said, does your God live on the planet Kolob, K-O-L-O-B? They said, yeah, we believe he does. I said, does your God have thousands of wives? They said, oh, yeah, thousands. I said, does he have normal physical relations with those wives and beget spirit babies in heaven? They said, oh, yeah, thousands of spirit babies. I said, now, do you guys believe that if the spirit baby in heaven is valiant and is a good spirit baby, when it comes to earth, the human couple only supplies the body, and your God supplies the spirit? Is that right? They said, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I said, now, if it's a good spirit baby, when it comes to earth, it gets a white-skinned body. But if it's a bad spirit baby, it gets a black-skinned body. Is that what you believe? They said, well, you're not supposed to know that, but yeah, that is what we believe. I said, guys, listen, I know you got the little tag says elder, even though you're 17, but let me explain something to you, okay? I've been married 32 years almost. I got 3 kids, taught biology and anatomy. I used to raise hamsters. I said, guys, let me explain something to you. I said, did you know there are 2 babies born on earth per second, 24/7, never stops? And you're telling me your God supplies a spirit for each one. When does he get time to answer your prayers? They shook the dust off their feet, and I guess I was anathema from then on. They never came back. But the lack of spiritual valiance, McConkie said, it's the divine decree. Cain, Ham, and the whole Negro race have been cursed with black skin, the mark of Cain. Black people are cursed, he said. Apostle Peterson said, if there's 1 drop of Negro blood in my children, they receive the curse. Shall I tell you the law of God in regard to the African race? If the white man who belongs to the chosen seed mixes his blood with the seed of Cain, the penalty under the law of God is death on the spot. You ought to read the book, Secret History of the Mormon Church, if you want to see where people have actually been killed for doing that. That's another long, interesting story. Just go to UTLM, Utah Lighthouse Mission.org. There's plenty of good stuff there. But see, in 1850s, and even before that, they were packing Negroes into ships and shipping them over here. I mean, if 10% died, that's not too bad.